The lights are off, the kids are asleep, your body is exhausted, but your brain is on minute 3 of that meltdown from earlier today, or it's running through tomorrow's to-do list, or it's reading through all of the things that you did today that made you feel like you were not enough. By the time your brain finally lets go, it's midnight and you have to get up in 6 hours.
Welcome to Chronic Illness Moms. If you're more than just a tired mom, I'm talking trying to make it through the day without crashing by noon while raising neurodivergent kids, you're not alone. I'm Ashley, a wife, mom, and certified health coach. I have lived with autoimmune disease and flare-ups that made everyday life feel harder than it should. After years of pushing through and burning out, I learned how much stress, poor sleep, and nervous system overload were driving my symptoms. Everything changed when I started building small, realistic habits that actually supported my body instead of fighting it. In this podcast, you'll learn simple habits that help you to feel better. So pop in your earbuds and take a break from the chaos. It's you time.
All right, friends, let's talk about this. You did it. You got through the day. The dishes are done. The hard conversations are over. Maybe your husband's already asleep. You lie down and you take in a deep breath and you exhale. And the second your body settles, your brain is on high alert. Have you ever noticed this happening? It's like that relationship between your body being still and your brain having all this noise. It's just this deep connection that you wish would go away. It's like your mind has been waiting all day for that quiet moment to start rehearsing every scene, to start thinking through every single to-do list you have, everything. So I want to ask you, when you finally lie down at night, or when you finally get a moment during the day to rest, what does your brain do first? This is the final episode of the series that we've been talking about this month, and really it's a different kind of episode. The first 3 episodes, we're talking a lot about what's really understanding what is happening to you, and then adding some things back in to help to support your goals of feeling better, of feeling like yourself, of getting rid of brain fog, of being able to have enough energy to keep up with your kids. But today we're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to be talking about 3 things that you can stop doing tonight. Because here's what I have learned with my journey of trying to overcome chronic illness, chronic symptoms, all these things, also talking to other exhausted moms. A lot of times the problem is not that there's something missing from your evening. You might have already tried things like supplements, diets, protocols, all these things. And stopping something instead of adding something back in could feel like the most relieving thing possible for you. And the great thing is, it's like there's nothing else to add to the to-do list. It's only something that you get to stop, that you get to put down. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about this. The first thing is, when we think about replaying today's moments, that's the first thing that I want you to focus on putting down. Replaying those hard moments, the meltdown at breakfast, the thing that you said or the response that you had that you wish you hadn't, the fight that you didn't handle the way that you wanted to, or maybe it was the fact that the dishes didn't get cleaned and maybe the house or the to-do list that you had didn't get done. This, oftentimes it is processing. We're processing our day, but also it can be very, very stimulating to your body, to your mind. So your body is going to respond to those memories of the meltdown, of the to-do list not getting done, the same way that it would respond if it were happening in real time. Your heart rate's going to go up, your jaw is going to be tense, you're going to be on high alert. You're going to basically just experience that stressful event twice, once in real time and then once when you lay down in bed. So obviously, when we sit down in bed and we start replaying all of the hard moments of the day, then your body is not going to be able to settle for you to go to sleep, to get that deep, healing, restorative sleep that you need. And the thing that we have to keep in mind is that sometimes we think that by ruminating on these things, really these failures that we feel for ourselves, these failures of ourselves, we think that ruminating on it is resolving it. But really it's not. Replaying events is not the same thing as resolving it. If you had a response to a child that you wish you hadn't, then in the moment, go and make it right. Instead of waiting until the night, that night while you're in bed and replaying it and the guilt and the shame and all of that stuff. And that's where I think if we can start focusing on not feeling the need to ruminate and replay, but instead make it right in the moment and then let it go. Let's put down this need to do a recap of the entire day. And it's so funny because when we do this recap, we never think about the things that we did right. We never think about the things that we accomplished. We're always focusing on those negatives. So that's the first thing I want you to focus on stopping today. that daily replay. Okay, the second thing is the rehearsal. I'm sure you know, running the to-do list for tomorrow, all the logistics for tomorrow that are going to be going on, running through that in your head. The dentist appointment, the lunch, the carpool, the email that you have to answer first thing in the morning, what you're going to wear, what your kids need to do, what you're going to say, what are you going to make for dinner, all of those things. I understand that we have to plan those things out, but we don't have to plan them at night when we're laying in bed. That's the thing. Let's have a set time, place, and routine to plan these things out. Let's have all these things on a calendar, something like that, so that we can free up our minds to really begin to give our body the space that it needs to wind down at night for us to get that deep restorative sleep that we need. And the funny thing is with this is we will start replaying all of this stuff and we feel like we're being responsible because, we are being responsible. We're taking care of life and our kids and our homes and all of that stuff. But you're also pre-stressing your body out for stuff that hasn't even happened yet. So your nervous system, again, it can't tell the difference, just like it can't tell the difference between that stressful event that you are reliving and you actually experiencing it. It also cannot tell the difference between the fact that you're stressing out about something that's going to happen tomorrow and the fact that you're just thinking about it and it actually hasn't happened yet. So you're imagining every detail, and then it's almost as if you're actually living it, even though tomorrow you're going to live that in real time. So again, we are pre-living or really reliving these stressful events twice, sometimes more than that, because we might replay and rehearse all of these things that we have to do multiple times a day. So the thing to ask yourself is, if I already have that dentist appointment listed out on a calendar and my husband or I or whoever's taking the child, we know that we're going to do it, is it really worth stressing about it tonight? Is it worth the amount of sleep, the stress and strain it's going to put on my body to be rehearsing and planning out this event that is already planned out and taken care of at night whenever I'm trying to wind down to go to sleep? And one thought that I really want you to think about when you're thinking about how can I stop rehearsing things for tomorrow is remind yourself that you cannot pre-handle things for tomorrow with the energy that you really need tonight to wind down to get good, steady sleep. Okay, the third thing that I want you to focus on stopping is the review. So first we had the replay, then we had the rehearsal, now we have the review. So this is one that I want you to just listen to with an open mind, because I think that it is the most justified feeling and really probably the most costly of the three. And the review is that failure reel that we have. So I should have been more patient. I yelled at her. I wasn't present. I'm not enough. I'm not the mom they need. I'm failing at this. I'm failing at that. And this isn't like the replay of the day. This is more about you as a mom. You just categorically how you're showing up in life. It's not replays of those certain events. While that obviously is part of that, this is the review of you as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as a person who is maybe an employee who takes care of your home, all of these things. And for moms, especially moms who are raising neurodivergent kids inside a body that is already running low on resources, on energy, this loop can run very, very frequently for us. There can be a lot of guilt, a lot of shame. And it can become so automatic, this thought process, that you might not even notice it. You might not realize that you are falling into this thought pattern. It honestly just feels like you're evaluating yourself. Like you're just thinking about, oh, well, this is the kind of mom I am. This is the kind of wife I am. This is what I'm doing wrong. And the thing is, while, none of us are perfect and there are always areas that we can improve on, it does not mean that you are a failure as a mom, as a wife, as a friend, as an employee. Really, what these are, when you get into this state of really being critical to yourself to that extreme level, where it's like, I yelled at her, I wasn't enough, I'm not who they need, all these things. It's not this honest assessment of, oh, I had a failure and now I need to go make it right. That's just reflection, which is great. It's okay for us to admit when we've done something wrong and then go make it right with someone. The review is really about you as a human and as your, it's like a character judgment and how you are failing. And so it can really be this stress response that we are thinking is self-reflection, but it's actually not. And especially when you think about ending your day in that state of mind where we're filled with guilt, we're filled with shame, We aren't, these feelings of guilt and shame aren't necessarily leading us to go make something right. If we feel like, oh, I really did not handle that situation right, it doesn't put us in that state. It doesn't put us in a state where we're going to be able to rest well. It puts us in a stressed out state. And so if we can stop ending our day in this review of who we are as a wife, as a mom, as a friend, as all of the things, if we can instead say, okay, here are a couple of things I did well. You know how much harder that is? And it's not a point of pride. It's not us trying to, lift ourselves up, but it is so much easier and more of a habit for us to be critical of ourselves, to be hard on ourselves. It takes a lot more intentionality for us to stop and say, okay, these are actually 3 things that I did well today. And then, if at the time of something that happened, maybe you realize you didn't handle something right and you go make it right, then that's great. Let's not save that until the end of the day, where we are then reflecting and really just dissing ourselves about all the things that we do wrong, all the ways we are wrong as a person. Because really, shaming and guilting yourself into feeling like you're a bad person is not repenting. It's just stimulating your body. It's putting this stress response on you that is not beneficial for you. It's not going to resolve anything that you feel like you've done wrong. It's not going to resolve the problem. It's just putting you in a stressed out state that is making it even harder for your body to heal. Okay, friends. So what can you work on? Obviously, we had 3 things here. We had the first one, which was the replay of today's hard moments. Then we had the rehearsal, which is you planning out and thinking through everything you have to do tomorrow. And then the last one is the review, which is really just your review of you as a person. Now, I'm not saying you have to drop all 3 of these tonight. Obviously, we talk about very small, easy wins here. We don't talk about completely overhauling your life or anything like that. So we're not trying to fix everything, but I want you to pick one of these. Which one feels the most impactful for you right now? Which one, as soon as I said it, did you think, oh my goodness, yes, that is me. That is what I struggle with. That's the one that I want you to focus on. So if yours is the replay, then when you catch yourself going through and thinking back on those hard moments from the day, maybe you say out loud, that was today. I went and I made that right, or we talked through that, or we resolved that. And I don't have to do that again tomorrow. I'm choosing to let this go. Then you take in a deep breath, hold it, let it out. Okay, maybe yours is rehearsal. And so when you catch yourself planning through tomorrow, you say, okay, tomorrow is already planned. I've got stuff on the calendar. I am not going to sit and dwell on this or plan this out tonight. Take in a deep breath, let it out. If yours is review, then when you catch yourself reciting your past failures or how you think you're failing as a person, I encourage you to think about those 3 things that you did do well today and remind yourself that while, yes, you do not get everything right, you're not perfect, you do fail, you are making progress. You are doing some things right. Remind yourself of those things that you are doing right. And keep in mind, you're not going to catch yourself, every time you do this. It's not going to be something that changes right away. The point is this does not have to be perfect. It's not like, okay, I have to drop this and I can't ever do it again. This is a process of growth, of learning, of retraining our brains and the thought patterns that we have created. The point really is to just get started, start working on this habit, start letting the day actually end instead of stressing out about what happened before or what's coming tomorrow. Let's give our bodies the space that they need to rest and to heal. Okay, friends, I hope that this episode has been helpful for you. That is all for this week, and I will see you back next week.
Hey friend, I hope you found today's episode helpful. If you did, would you take a minute to share it with another mom who's struggling with chronic symptoms? And leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means the world to me to know this podcast is making a difference for you. All right, it's time for me to go tackle those snack requests, and remember that a short walk, even if the kids turn it into a race, still counts as self-care. Keep chasing those little wins. Even when it feels messy, you're making progress. The information shared in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always consult your healthcare provider before making any changes to your health routine. I'm not a doctor, and this podcast is not intended to treat or diagnose any condition. You're the expert on your body. Listen to it and reach out to a trusted provider for support.